everyone. For this Music Talk Tuesday, I thought it would be interesting to briefly address catchy songs. Now, I did mention in the past that there are songs out there that I never get tired of, and there's also catchy songs, and I think sometimes, usually people like to either place them as good catchy or bad catchy. Um, but I'm just going to classify this list of songs as that they're catchy in the sense that they do get stuck in your head often. At least that's how I feel about these songs. These songs, I think, over the years have remained these songs that kind of have stuck around with me in my head for quite some time, and whenever I hear them, it automatically just processes in everything that the song sort of does instrumentally, vocally. So without further ado, I thought it would be interesting to briefly address these songs. And I will leave my audience to decide whether or not these are technically good, catchy, or bad, or somewhere in between. So without further ado, let me discuss the first song, which is by Lou Bega, and it's called Mambo No. 5. This was actually a cover to a 1949 classic by Damos Perez Dorado, I believe. And the interesting thing about this song and how it is catchy is just by the sheer amount of attitude and sort of funk it has. It really sort of resembles kind of the 90s vibe that was going on during the time. And it really does sort of encapsulate this very upbeat mood that I think results in it being fairly catchy. The beats, although they sort of do repeat throughout the song, I think are at the one time very enjoyable to listen to, but I know that it can get repetitive to the point where you probably don't want to hear the song excessively. But if you hear it on a dance floor at a party at one point, then you might just enjoy it as much as you would any other song playing. So it does have this I think, likability to it, despite the fact that some might categorize it as being too outlandish. But I think it really suits the song well because ultimately it's trying to be this kind of social song, in that basically throughout it the vocalist is discussing how he enjoys various times with different women, and it's just pretty funny to listen to because it doesn't feel like dirty or anything. It just feels like just a fun, catchy song, and just one that you would want to get up and dance to, while at the same time remembering as you probably walk away from the dance floor. So I think it is catchy in that sense, but again, I can understand if some don't find it as maybe timeless, I guess you could say. But I think overall it has maintained a fairly positive vibe. And I really do like the sort of laid back attitude that it has, and how it's very go with the flow, and it's all just designed to just be a good time, and I think that's what the song did a good job of encapsulating. So I think it's definitely worth a recommendation, although just be prepared to have it be in your head for a while. Um, so I think that's really all I can say about that song in particular. So I will move on to the next song, which is by Haddaway, and that is What Is Love. Oh my lord, this song. If you've ever watched Night of the Roxbury, you will understand how unbelievably catchy this song is. It's basically the head bop song, if if you're ringing a bell and if it's already implanted in your brain. But basically this song is pure dance club music from the 90s. It's just so ridiculous, and it kind of sounds European almost, and there's not a whole lot to the song, I will say. It's not like Mambo Number 5 that kind of tries to at least give some substance. But at the same time, I can't help but say that it's unbelievably catchy. Like, the beat just hits the bump just really well. And I just cannot not get it out of my brain once I hear it, because it's just that it just has that just edge to it that um, sets in the beat really well. And um, again, it's not all that in depth. Pretty much the lyrics summed up are, what is love? Baby, don't hurt me no more. That's pretty much all the lyrics you're gonna get. And it's not really deep or complex, but boy, is it catchy. Boy, does it get inside your brain and wants to inhabit it. And it's just one of those songs that I think again is trying to be, kind of upbeat and goofy, but at the same time I don't think it takes itself so seriously as Mambo Number 5 with its approach, because again it is fairly repetitive. I would say more repetitive than Mambo Number 5, and it is a lot more ingrained in not providing a lot of context and lyrics. So again, it's just one of those pieces where, again, I understand if it could be annoying to some, but I just find it unbelievably just head boppingly catchy that I cannot not mention it. Um, so the third song that I'm going to mention is actually one that I think a lot of viewers find to be rather annoying. And I understand this argument, and yes, it is probably one of the more disliked songs of Disney. But my mom still loves the ride, still loves the song too. And it's called "It's a Small World." Yes, from the ride. The thing about "It's a Small World" is that it has context. I mean, it has lyrics within the song, unlike the previous song that I mentioned, "What Is Love." Um, and it does seem to have sort of a sense of substance that Mambo Number 5 does, and tries to it tries to be happy and joyous, and celebratory, because again, it's trying to bring out the good in all these different cultures and sort of bringing them together, and you'll see this if you choose to go on the ride. It's very peaceful and happy, but I think what ends up coming across to I think audiences is that it's fairly superficial, because again it kind of sounds a little bit like uh, a sort of generic pop song, even though it's really not based within pop. Again, it's sort of designed that way because it's so full of cheer and um optimism, and it just brings out this kind of fakeness to it that I think is what kind of distracts viewers and makes it, I think, so unbelievably catchy. Um, but again, it's one of those songs where it feels like you're smiling too often, and then it suddenly starts to hurt. And I think that's the catchy aspect that this song sort of brings. It brings in that level of cheese that you can't help but have it be in your head, but at the same time you're not sure whether or not to really like the song, because it is just that um, it, it it's it's repetitive with its instrumentals, although its lyrics are, I think, sort of genuine. You know, if you look beyond like the repetitiveness of it, it's very it does feel like it was trying to get at something to the audience. But it, again, I think the inability for it to stop smiling is what makes it a little bit, I think, superficial for some. And as a result, I think we get this sort of repetitive nature, and as a result, we get a very catchy song. And again, this is the key word here, catchy. I didn't say it was good, but I said it was catchy. So yeah, that's, I think, all I can really say about It's a Small World. The second to last song that I wanted to mention is the Macarena by Los Del Rio. And in order to have grown up in the 90s, you need to know the dance, the Macarena, you know, where you go like this and this and this and this and this and this and all that and stuff, you know. I can't actually even really remember the order, but that's really how the song is presented. And again, it is sort of similar to What Is Love because there's not a whole lot of context and lyrics, and it has that repetitive nature. But it's fun because it kind of has a little bit of flavor, because it does sort of it's sort of classified as a Spanish kind of song, and sort of reflects onto that culture. So I guess that makes it a little bit more unique compared to What Is Love, which is kind of more based within, I guess, European style dance music. So again, it has that kind of, you know, Latin flavor going for it, and it's just one of those things that I think is very one of these songs that I think is very memorable in the sense of it being incorporated into a dance, because if you literally incorporate the dance as you're listening to the song, it gets even more permanently ingrained into your already ingrained mind. So it works in that sense. So as a result, I think we get a fairly catchy song. Now, the last one that I wanted to briefly mention is one that is of the 70s disco genre, and that is Village People's YMCA. Who doesn't remember going YMCA? Who does not remember the unbelievably, you know, kind of fun yet catchy beat with the fun lyrics and the all-around good time that the song was trying to do? I don't think there's anybody that can say that they really cannot not remember this song. It's just so it has that kind of goofiness that What Is Love has, but at the same time it's very it's really very passionate, and knows what it's really offering to its audience, and I think that's why it ultimately works. And as a result, I think that's why it remains to be one of those ones that we remember, because similar to the Macarena, we sort of have a dance incorporated in there, even though it's really more hand movements than really a dance. So it just has that permanent permanent mark, especially when it is you know, trying to discuss a organization like the YMCA. And I don't think there's anybody that could look at the YMCA sign and not think of the song. because the song is just that memorably catchy. And I think it's definitely something that has probably worked to the YMCA's favor over the years. But again, who knows? But I think it's one of those memorably catchy songs that, well, regardless of whether you dislike or like it, it somehow works to get through the brain. But ultimately, I think that's really all I can say about these songs. If there are any questions, comments, concerns, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you all have a great day, week, month, and year. And I hope to see you all in the next video. Take care. Bye-bye.